Glossary. Oh, glossary. Zenobia, Septimia, second wife of Odenathus, king of Palmyra, who ruled the Eastern Empire in AD 262-7. Yithron, 4th century BC architect who worked on the mausoleum at Halicarnassus. His correct name is Ceteris. Xerxes I, king of Persia, who reigned 485-465 BC and attacked Greece to avenge the defeat of his father, Darius I, at the Battle of Marathon in 490. Xantippe, Vulcan, wife of Socrates. Xantippe. 5th century BC. Although Christine represents her as a loving spouse, she was in fact traditionally renowned for her shrewdness. A Vulcan, Roman god of fire and thunderbolts. Volscians, people of ancient Italy who attacked Rome in the 5th century. Volscians. Vitellius. Aulus Vitellius, son of Lucius Vitellius. Triaria, the third of the 3 Roman emperors who reigned in AD 69. Vitellius, Virginia, 5th century BC, Roman maiden traditionally thought to have been killed by her father to save her from being raped by Claudius. Although Christine states that she took her own life. Christine states that she took her own life. Christine states that she took her own life. Virginia, that is. Yeah, Virgil. 12 books. The Fall of Troy. Virginia. Vespasian Vesta. No, Priestess Vespasian Vesta. Virgia Chatelaine. Venus, originally an Italian deity of beauty, later identified in my mythology as Aphrodite, Greek goddess of love. According to legend, she was the mother of Venus. Oh, that reminds me too about the thrones. Vandals. Oh, let me generalize this. Let's see how they did it. Eastern Germanic barbarian race who overran the Western Roman Empire in the 5th to 6th century. Oh, Valerius, 1st century, Roman author during the reign of Tiberius, who wrote a handbook of memorial deeds and sayings. The Factorum Edictorum Memoriam Libri, which became an important source for political writers in the Middle Ages. And see also Letter of Valerius to Rufinus. Valerius. Glossary. I like that right there. Valerian, Roman emperor who reigned AD 253-60. defeated by Sapphira, king of Persia. 260. Thus things. Thus 60. 260. Saint Ursula, traditionally thought to have been a British virgin and martyr who was killed in Cologne during persecution of Emperor Maximilian. Ursula, urban, date unknown, father of Saint Christine, the governor of the city of Tyre. Urban, judge and prefect of Caesarea in Palestine, traditionally thought to have tormented Saint Theodosina. Urban, Uranus, according to Greek myth, father of Saturn and Opus. Ulysses, Odysseus, king of Ithaca and Greek hero in the Trojan War, who was renowned for his cunning, husband of Penelope and father of Telemachus. Tyre, city of Phoenicia. Tyndareos, king of Sparta, husband of Lydia and father of Helen of Troy. Tyndareos, Turnus, king of Rutland and Aeneas' rival for the hand of Lavinia. Troy's town southeast of Paris. Troy, Trojans, ancient city, besieged by the Greeks. Trios, king of Persian, founded. Triumvirate, Roman term for a board of 3 men in public office, usually elected by the people. The most famous triumvirate, established in 43 BC and comprising Mark Antony, Marcus Lepidus, and Octavian, assumed supreme authority over Rome. That's some Caesar stuff right there. I think it fit. And other Eastern Byzantine. Lots of people broke their things up into like 3 sons and 3 people, though. Tyrrheus, legendary seer of Thebes and father of Manto. But I skipped one right there. Tristan, lover of Isolde and hero of tragic legend. Triaria, 1st century, wife of Lucius Vitellius, a Roman consul. Vitellius. Trajan, Roman emperor, reigned 98-117. Titus Flavius Vespasianus, Roman emperor, reigned. Glossary, Timotheus, sculpture worked on Mausoleum at Halicarus. 4th century, Tiberius, adopted son of August, Roman emperor, reigned. What kind of book is this anyway? Tiber River, large, fast-growing river in Central Italy, right there. The coast of the Roman enters the Mediterranean. Ostia is the southwest of Rome. Ruler of an area of eastern Germany which lay north of Bavaria and west of Saxony. First husband of Queen Bassan. The first husband of a queen. Well, isn't that ironic? Not the second wife of the king or the third wife of the king, but the first husband of Queen Bassan. See, I didn't learn something. All right, it's bedtime. It's been all day and I learned something. I'm glad. Yeah. King of Thuringia. First husband of Queen Bassan. He was a king. She was a queen. St. Thomas, one of the apostles, traditionally thought to have spread Christianity to far India. Theos, king of Lemnos, father, lover of Pyramus of Babylon. Theseus, Greek hero and king of Athens, friend and companion of Hercules, and husband of Hippolyta. Thermutis, daughter of Pharaoh who rescued Moses. Even got her name down there. They know her name. They're Moses. Daughter of Pharaoh who rescued Moses. I said, daughter of Pharaoh is what they said. They know her name. Greek philosopher from Lesbos. That's where I was from. Theophrastus. No, I don't know. I got to read that again. I don't know. All right, he's a Greek philosopher from Lesbos, over from Aristotle as head of his school in Athens. Author of a lost work. The Book of Marriage, usually referred to as the Aureolus or Golden Book, is aura, which contain notable passages that were subsequently quoted by many medieval writers from St. Jerome onwards. See also a letter of Valerius to Rufinus. I guess they quoted that right there. Theophilus, lawyer of Cappadocia, traditionally thought to have been converted by St. Dorothy. Theodota, St. Theodota, early 4th century, noblewoman of Nicaea who was martyred by the Procononicetes during the persecution of Diocletian's persecution. Theodosina, St. Theosidina of Theodosia, Virgin of Tyre, traditionally thought to have been married in Caesarea, Palestine, by the judge and prefect Urban. Theodoric, son of Lily, leader of the Ostrogoths, sent by the Eastern Emperor Zeno to secure Italy from the barbarian king Odoacer, whom he defeated in 493 AD. King of Italy, who reigned 493 to 526. Was his son, Theodoric, son of Lilia. Thebes, ancient city in the Boeotian region of Greece, according to legend, founded by Cadmus. That's Thebes. Those Thebans. Thamyris, according to legend, a queen of the Amazons, who defeated Cyrus, king of Persia. But them Persians be beating them other people, but they got the queen right there, the queen of the Amazon, and kicked the king of Persia's ass right there. Thamyris, that's a story right there, folks. Greek painter and daughter of Micon, Greek painter and daughter. Thamyris. Tertia Aemilia, daughter of Lucius Aemilius Paulus, a Roman consul in 219 BC, wife of Scipio Africanus the Elder. That's Tertia Aemilia. And Telemachus, son of Ulysses and Penelope. And that's what I'm reading right there. I'm going to stop. There's a glossary. And what letter was it on right there? T. So we got T. What goes with A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Yeah. And then I hadn't even got to the S. And S is like a big word. S probably goes a couple pages. Yeah. I got P's. And it keeps going. J, C, A. That's probably it. Oh, more A's. More A's. I didn't think there'd be that many A's. That's a good one, though. Duchess of Angel. Daughter of Jean, Brittany, and Charles of Blois, married to Louis I, Duke of Angel, in 1360. Oh, Hector, a Theowen, and Hector, what is this? St. Andrew, the first apostle traditionally thought to have prophesied in Greece and to have been crucified in Patras. Oh, that reminds me, though. That other one, though, she was allegedly killed herself, according to somebody else. Andromache, wife of the Trojan Prince Hector. Oh, yeah. That's probably all. Oh, they keep going. But there's a short video on the glossary. I don't know how to start. About Queen Penthesilea and how she went to the rescue of the city of Troy. This queen, Orinthia, lived for a long time and died at a fine old age, having kept the realm of Abyssinia in a flourishing state and expanded its dominion. The Amazons crowned as her successor her own daughter, the brave Penthesilea, who surpassed all others in intelligence, courage, prowess, and virtue. She too was forever eager to take up arms and fight, increasing the Amazons' power further than ever before in her relentless pursuit of territory. She was so feared by her enemies that none dared approach her, and so proud that she never slept with a man, but preferred to remain a virgin all her life. It was during her reign that the terrible war between the Greeks and the Trojans broke out. Because of the name that the great Hector had made for himself as the finest, bravest, most likely skilled knight in the world, Penthesilea, who was naturally drawn to him since they shared the same qualities, heard so much about him that she began to love him with a pure, noble heart, and desired above all else to go and see him. In order to fulfill this wish, she left her country with a great host of noble ladies and maidens, all expert in the arts of war, and richly armed. I hope they didn't have 6 arms like that other guy did. Setting off to the city of Troy, which lay a great distance away. However, distance always seems shorter when one's heart is filled with a strong desire. Unfortunately, when Penthesilea arrived in Troy, it was already too late. She discovered that Hector had been killed by Achilles during a battle in which the flower of Trojan chivalry had been wiped out. Penthesilea was received with all honors by the Trojans, King Priam, Queen of Cuba, and all the barons. Yet she was inconsolable and heartbroken to find that Hector was dead. The king and queen, who never left off grieving for the death of their own son, offered to show her his body since they had been unable to let her see him alive. They took her to the temple where his tomb had been prepared. Truly the very noblest and finest sepulchre that has ever been recorded in the history books. There's a beautiful sumptuous chapel all decorated with gold and precious stones. Sat the embalmed and robed body of Hector on a throne in front of the main altar dedicated to the gods. He appeared to be more alive than dead, as he brandished a naked sword in his hand. His haughty face still seemed to be throwing out a challenge to the Greeks. He was draped in a long full garment, which was woven with fine gold and trimmed with embroidered with jewels. This garment came down to the floor, covering the lower half of his body, which lay completely immersed in precious balm that gave off the most delicious scent. These Trojans worshipped this body, bathed in the dazzling light of hundreds of candles, as if it were one of their gods. A costellar tomb surely never was seen. Oh, by the list of girl doing something was seen. Here they brought Queen Penthesilea, who no sooner glimpsed the body through the open chapel door than she fell on her knees in front of Hector and greeting him as if he was still alive. She then went up close to him and gazed deeply in his face. Though her tears, she cried out, "O flower of chivalry! O flower of chivalry!" The very epitome and pinnacle. That's another word for zenith. Bravery. Who can dare to call themselves valiant and even strap on a sword? Now that the finest and most shining example of knighthood has gone. Alas, cursed be the day that he whose vile hand deprived the world of its greatest treasure was ever born. Most noble prince, why was fortune so contrary as to prevent me from being by your side when this traitor was plotting your downfall? This never would have happened because I would not have allowed it. If your killer were still alive, I would surely avenge your death and thus extinguish the life sorrow and anger which are burning up my heart as I see you lifeless before me and unable to speak to me, as was my only desire. Yet since fortune decreed that it should be so, that I can do nothing to gainsay her, I swear by the very highest gods of our faith and solemnly promise you, my dear Lord, that as long as I have breath in my body, I will make the Greeks pay for your death. As she knelt before the corpse, Penthesilea's words reached the great crowd of barons, knights, and ladies who were all gathered there and moved them to tears. She could barely drag herself away from the tomb, but finally she kissed his hand that was holding the sword and took her leave, saying, "Most excellent knight, what must you have been like when you were alive, given that the mere image of you in death is so full of majesty?" Weeping tears. Weeping tears.